I see Carolyn Wade, civil court judge. Because in our club before, as you know, like we always like old friends and good friends and new friends, and of course Consuelo Melendez, please. Consuelo Melendez last year ran for civil court, lost by about 3 points, but again she came a little bit late to our club, and that was the main reason why we didn't. We collected signatures with your name, but we didn't publicly endorse you, because like you came a little bit late to us. That's why I want all candidates, everybody you're voting for, you have to see these people, you have to know who these people are. That's why we invited candidates for Brooklyn DA and judges. So each time you go into the voting booth, you know exactly who this person is, and you will have a chance to say your words. I also see our good friend, civil court judge Andrew Borak here. Thank you for coming. He always came to our events, and a few times he even brought his Russian-speaking wife, and I believe once he even came with child. So everybody here is again family, and that's the whole point. So you know who is who and who is running, and who these people are, not just blind voting for candidates. So I wanted to give a chance to say a few words to our councilman who represents this area, who is good friend of this club, constantly coming to our meetings, our events, our annual dinner, and so it's my pleasure to introduce my friend Councilman Chaim Deutsch.
Thank you, Eric. I just want to start off, first of all, I want to welcome Eric for being here today. I had the opportunity of working with him since he's been working for both his predecessors, God willing. But anyway, I just want to tell you a little story. I was driving a few months ago, actually. I was going to one of my D75 schools, special needs schools. It was 8 o'clock in the morning, and I was driving up Nostrand Avenue. And I see this lady standing in the corner. Her hands were shaking, and she didn't seem like someone you want to hang out with. She didn't look like, you know, norm. She looked, you know, kind of, I'm sorry?
Disturbed.
Disturbed, exactly. And I saw she's walking around with a piece of paper, and she's going from person to person showing that piece of paper, and everyone's shaking their head no. So what would you assume she's asking?
Signatures.
Money. It's not signatures, not petition money yet. She's asking for money, right? So I left. I went to my D75 school, and 3 hours later, I'm driving back. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. And I see the same lady at the same corner with the same piece of paper, going from person to person. Everyone is doing the same thing, shaking their head. No, going this. So I pick up the phone, I call one of the cops on the cell phone, and I said, listen, I think she may be disoriented, may be lost. So the officer tells me from the 61st precinct that I'm not at work yet. So when I get in, from the phone call, so I said, you know something, I will keep an eye on her. And I called my deputy chief of staff, who's here at Tautoba, and I asked her to come there in case she walks away, just so we can keep an eye on her. And so I told the officer, I'll call 911, and once that information's in the system, I'll call you back. This one, all you have to do is call the desk, and they have this information already, they'll send someone out. So before I call 911, I decided, you know something, let me approach her. So I made this illegal U-turn, and I pulled up in front of her, and I rolled down my passenger side window, and I asked, is everything okay? She looks at me, she goes, no. I said, can I see that paper you have in your hand? So she goes, sure. She gives it to me. On the top it said, doctor's appointment, 8 o'clock in the morning. So I called up the number, and I asked the person, the receptionist answering the phone, I said, do you have a doctor's appointment for such and such lady? So she goes, yes, we're waiting here since 8 o'clock in the morning. So let me tell you something. I put her in my car, I drove her 100 feet away from where she was for 3 hours looking for an address, just 100 feet away. And it was a doctor's office for people with disability and special needs. So my point of the story is that when you look around this room and you look at our acting DA, not everything, working with him, not everything is always black and white. Okay, Eric always takes that extra step to look into it, to make sure he's doing the right thing, to make sure the right thing is being done. So this is what I have to say about you, Eric, working with you on so many different things. And I did work with him for the previous DA, who I had opportunity to work with even while we were both running for re-election. We both met and crossed many paths during our election season. And there was a lady, 82-year-old lady in my district who was raped, 82 years old. This young teenager pushed his way in and was there all night, raping her.
On Brighton 11.
He got on Brighton 11, and he got convicted. He faced he's facing now 115 years in jail. So, you know something, it's very unfortunate when you see a teenager, someone so young, facing 115 years. So that gets to, that gets to the other things about children, teenagers who are drug addicts and drug abuse. So I know a few hours ago I was on the phone with an organization, and there were 6 overdoses in Queens within the last month, and there was 1 in Brooklyn. I think it was over the last few days. And this is something that if we don't have a teenager, God forbid, hopefully we don't have anyone, but we all know someone who has a teenager who has a drug addiction. And jail is not always the answer, because yes, you put the person in jail, they come out, they could be recidivists. But when I was talking to Eric before, matter of fact, on the way up here, right, one of the things I mentioned to him is to have some type of forum. I have organizations that I do fund that deal with this, but to educate parents. Education is very important. To educate parents if you have a child, because sometimes when you have a problem, it's very difficult to deal with it. So you always need outside help to guide you in the right direction, to let you know of what type of treatments are available out there for teenagers who are addicted to drugs. And it doesn't have to be only drugs, it could be pills, it could be anything. So this is something important, this is something that we're tackling, this is something in education is very important. And the same goes when it comes to hate crimes. You know, you're saying there's so many hate crimes going on all over the place, all over the nation, and no one's getting arrested. So what's important is that education part. Like Ari mentioned, the Holocaust Memorial Committee. They have what's called an intergenerational forums with children, and they sit around the table, Holocaust survivors sit around the table with young kids to teenagers and just telling them the stories. And this is firsthand. These are Holocaust survivors, and this education teaches kids. Because a lot of times you have these swastikas, it's not an organized group, it's some stupid kid, a teenager, who just goes ahead and draws a swastika and walks away, and all of a sudden, everything does a swastika right here in the neighborhood. So education is very important. Bringing teenagers to Holocaust museums are important, to educate them what happened. I just came back, I just had, in the city council we work very hard. So I just came back from Israel on on a delegation from the city council. I went there with 7 other members of the city council. And someone mentioned to me, oh, you're so lucky, you went away for a week to Israel. But let me tell you something, from 6 o'clock in the morning to 11 o'clock at night, nonstop. And we were exhausted. No sleep. I didn't want to give you away. I didn't want to give you away. So it was a very interesting experience, a very good experience. And one of the places we went to see is the Yad Vashem. And the Yad Vashem, we spent about 3.5 hours there just going around touring, listening, and seeing what all the atrocities that happened during the Holocaust. And I know from my personal experience from my parents that my father, he was 14 years old, he went through the Holocaust, he survived 3 concentration camps. Why do you say 3? How can it be 3? Because every time he was deported, every time he was sent out, that's when the army came in and that concentration camp was liberated. So he wasn't that lucky, but he got lucky when he got it after the 3rd one, when he was liberated by the 71st Infantry Division of the United States Army. So that's why I'm so, God bless our United States, God bless our Army, God bless our Marines, God bless our vets, and it's so important to to recognize that, and also to educate. Education is very important when it comes to drug abuse, when it comes to hate crimes. That's so important. So I'll take a few questions. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, my mom, you can look up Sarah America on Steven Spielberg's testimony. Her mother was the private secretary of the Menachem Begin and the Beitar and the Underground, survivor of Warsaw Ghetto, and also survivor of the Russian gulags when she got busted.
I'm going to accent, hopefully I can use it.
Mr. Chaim, yeah.
Yes.
You know, I'm community activist from Brighton Beach.
I never met you. Okay.
Yeah, yes. I'm telling you the truth that a lot of our community, young kids, they are involved in drugs.
Yes.
And drug is, the drug dealers, they sell the drug on Neptune Avenue, in between Coney Island Avenue and Brighton Street and Ocean View Avenue. And police don't see. They see the groups over there, but nobody take notice. Few years before, I make a complaint myself on West 8th Street police station. I told them, and after that, I see that those people, they ran. And now from last 1 year, I used to walk evening time, near about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I walk in my streets, and I saw a lot of groups. And they smoke, and I feel smell when I don't know.
Did you call 911?
Yes, and I don't want to
No, so you
mention
gotta
because
call.
I live over there. I'm just telling you because you are our district leader from that neighborhood, and please complain.
New York City Council.
So that's my duty to tell you. And
So let me just tell you, when it comes to drugs, the officer has to observe. If there's a drug sale, the officer has to observe that transaction.
Yeah.
You cannot say, oh, this guy just did this and this, and that, you know, because now it's stop and frisk, you know, it's like very difficult. Like, you know, they came over to me, they want to reform certain things within the police department, which I'm totally opposed to. One is that when the officer stops someone, they should ask that person, oh, do you mind if I frisk you? And if the person says no, then you cannot do anything unless you get a court order. So today I'm walking from the city hall and they came over to me, they tapped me, okay, can you vote for our bills? I said, no. I said, if you have a weapon and an officer asks you, do you have a weapon? Could I frisk you? Of course you're going to say no, right? Number two, now, if you want to, another thing they tried to get me to sign on is that when an officer stops you, he should hand you his business card. So that I was thinking, because everyone has a right to know which officer, the name of the officer who stopped the person, right? So that's fine. So I was thinking, I said, you know, let me think about it. And this was a few months ago, and today they asked me, so did you think about it, council member? So I said, yeah, I thought about it. But you know something? Every officer has a nameplate, right? So if the nameplate was on his backside, then I would say, you know something, you're right. But the nameplate is right here. So how many nameplates? Maybe an officer should have 5 nameplates. You know, so how much more do you need? You know, an officer is just like a sanitation worker, just like any city agency. You cannot pick on one organization and say, you're no good, right? But if sanitation takes your recycling and puts it in the regular trash, nobody complains. You know, we're all human beings. People make mistakes, but we need to make sure that if there are mistakes made by an officer, we need to address it. And that's why I'm going to say it again, I'm proud that in my district, the 60th precinct has the highest reduction in crime in the city of New York. 77 precincts in the city of New York, 6-0 has the highest reduction. 6-1 in my district is number 3, the third and the highest reduction in crime. And the 7-0 precinct, which is part of my district, is number 6, but the areas of my district has a very, very extremely low crime rate. And that's why we need, it's because of people like you that come out to community council meetings, that get involved. It's the great officers, it's us going down to the precinct, doing roll calls and speaking to them, encouraging them, supporting them, and they feel good in this community and they do their job properly. And I'm a true big supporter of our men and women.
thank you.
Yeah. So thank you very much. One other thing I want to go down is that we mentioned about, you know, hate crimes and not understanding each other. So we, in my district, we have many cultures, many religions, many cultures, many ethnic backgrounds and everything. So I did have a meeting in my office about three weeks ago, and I had people there from every corner of my district, representing every corner of my district, and that is the diversity of my district, and that is the body of our city, the city of New York. And we all sat around, we spoke, we just understood each other. We had imams, we had people from the Jewish community, Italian, Irish, Chinese, everyone. So we had a few people, I saw pictures, and we had people there, and we all just have this understanding that we all live and work together and live side by side, and we're not going to tolerate any hate against any specific ethnic background. So, and me, I represent everyone. I don't represent one community, I represent the entire community. So if someone tells me you shouldn't be seen with this one or that one, no, I represent everyone. When I went to Israel, I went everywhere. Okay, we had to see everything. We had to see all the corners of Israel, representing a lot of people who are here in America. And I'm proud to be part of such a diverse district. And I'm proud to have a district leader. Yeah.
So, as our next speaker, she doesn't need really introduction, but I asked Nancy Tang to come to our club because she's not just district leader, not just working for Assemblyman Bill Colton, she's also running for New York City Council in Bensonhurst, Bay Ridge, Dyker Heights area. And last month, some of you asked me questions, so I said, like, Nancy is going to answer these questions herself. You will be able to ask her as well. But before I go any further, I also wanted to acknowledge Brian Gottlieb. He is also considering running for civil court in Brooklyn. Of course, I wanted to say that members of our club always a priority for any race, because like people who come into meeting, who support our club, of course is our priority, because we know them and they're part of our family. And before I win Margarita or I will endorse someone else, we always give priority to our club members. But of course it's a process, there is a district-wide election, borough-wide election. We have to pass a selection committee. It's a long process, it's not like one-day process. So I wanted to mention Brian Gottlieb because he's a very loyal member of our club since day one. And also, one more candidate for Judge came. Tonight I got so many calls. Isaiah Isaac, yeah, thank you for coming. Do you want to say a few words? No? No? Okay. Okay. That's all? You don't want to say about yourself? Not about yourself?
You have to go somewhere else.
Ah, okay, okay. Thank you for coming. We have representatives from Councilman Mark Treyger, from Senator Diane Savino, and I'm grateful that you came. Always happy to see you. Ah, okay. Okay, thank you. And of course, I wanted to introduce Nancy Tan, very good friend of this club. Nancy came to every event we organized, annual dinner, our individual fundraisers. I wanted her to, she has her own club, don't get me wrong, she has her own United Progressive Democratic Club, is a very important, influential, busy club in Bensonhurst. But I wanted her to come because again, she's not just district leader, just district leader. I'm also, she also works for Assemblyman Bill Colton, and also now decided to jump into the race. And last month we talked about it, and this is a very unusual race so far. 3 Republicans jumped in, and I believe 5 Democrats already. And I don't know whether anybody else will jump. But Nancy is the first person from that race who decided to come to our club because she believes our club is important. I hope so. So, Nancy, please, very good friend of our club. Nancy, come. She's also a very hard-working person. She helps everybody in office and outside of the office. I wanted to add one more time because we talked tonight about hate crimes. Like, as a person who ran 3 times for various offices, I can say that each time you're running, someone is like putting dirt on you. It's automatically. But you know, there is a dirt and there is a dirt. And I saw Nancy performing American national anthem at huge political events. And her English is better than mine. and she can teach English in my personal opinion. But some people, including Democrats from Bay Ridge, who did not like the fact that she's a woman, that she is Asian American, that she is like, doesn't look like someone else. And we're talking about Democrats, we're not talking about Republicans. They started to publish insulting comments, you know, like on blogs, etc., etc. So I was so, when it was one comment, it could be some crazy guy. When it's two comments, you know, like, when it's like 10 comments and all from the same area, she's not one of us, she has to learn English and so on, you know. Like, I decided to intervene, and most of them are anonymous, they're using pseudonyms, you know, like, never putting their own names. And Nancy knows that I published my own picture there, and I signed my name, and I expressed myself like exactly how I feel about all of this, like basically racist comments from the fellow Democrats, you know, like from Bay Ridge. And we remember what they said about Pam Harris, that she is black running in the white district, that's why she cannot run. As we know, she won decisively, and I guarantee you that Nancy Tank is a superb candidate. She's working with everybody and for everybody, and like it is my pleasure and honor to introduce Nancy Tank. Let's welcome. I also forgot to mention that Leah Moses came. She works for Assemblywoman Pamela Harris. I just mentioned her Harris.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm honored to meet all of you here today. Some of them I know and you know me, but for those who don't know me, I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. I always started as a volunteer when my son was 4 years old. When he started pre-K, I started doing volunteer work in the school. And I'm a teacher's assistant, and I read to them, and I'm also in the cafeteria helping. Until he started going to high school, I got involved in the PTA. Once he started high school, I started, by random chance, Assemblyman William Colton noticed me, and he came up to me. At that time, I was doing volunteer. Nancy, would you like to have a job in my office? I said, oh, I was doing everything for free. Now I'm getting paid. I said, sure, why not? But I said to him, I can only do part-time. He said, why part-time? I said, well, I have a family. You know, I have a son, I have a mother, I have a mother-in-law. So I can only work, I was only working 5 hours a day for 4 days. So 20 hours a week. That's good. Then later on, our office is very, very busy. At that time, I was seeing 2,000 constituents a year. Bill has 4,000 constituents that comes in. Now, the last count we have this year, 5,600 constituents. A lot. You know, people are coming in with service like over 60 constituents a day. But we have, I don't service all that. We have a lot of caseworkers. It's getting busier and busier. And I love what I do. Believe it or not, I love what I do. I still work 4 days. I've been with Bill for 8 years. I still work 4 days. Instead of working 20 hours, I work 28 hours. Even though my payroll is 28 hours, I'm 24/7 doing other stuff. And I've decided after I do the work, I really like what I do. But in order for me to accomplish more, I need to come out and run for city council. This way I can help my constituent do a little more. And I hope I could have the support from Harry Kagan and Margarita Kagan and the members from the Faith Democrats. So that's why today I'm here to, you know, speak to you. If you have any questions about me, you know, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. And this is what I do. In the Assemblyman's office, I see constituents' simple job as reading a letter or dealing with domestic violence, all different. We have SCREE, we have SNAP, Medicaid, anything you name it. They come in, they have problems. A lot of people don't speak the language. So we service Russian constituent, Asian constituent, English, Italian, you know, whatever. They come in, they have a problem. I recall there was one time, there's a lady, she's 80-something years old. She comes in with a card, and she sat down, and she says, "Oh, I am so ashamed to come here." I said, "Why are you ashamed? I've never asked for help. Now I can't do this, I can't do that. And financially, she's not good either." So I said to this lady, I said, "When you are young, you know what to do. You don't need help. But when you get older, everybody needs help. Why you be ashamed?" I said, "Don't you ever feel ashamed." She said, "Now I can't fill out the form." I said, "You come here, we take care of you." And after I do these kind of work for my constituents, I always feel so happy. Sometimes when I solve a problem, I think I'm more happier than they are. Really, I really love what I do.
I also wanted to say why you're wearing this.
Oh, I wear this, I started this a few years ago, and I make them. And sometimes the senior center helps me make. One of them was Winjanu's parents, the mother of Winjanu. She also helped out to make. And this ribbon I always wear. Every day you see me wearing it.
Detective Lou and Detective Ramos were killed in the line of
This is the
duty.
support for the NYPD. To show support. They're the ones who put their life on the line to protect us. So I want to show appreciation. So I make these, I give out. I should have bought some in today to hand out. But the next time I come by, I will hand out some, so that everybody can wear it. All right? And I know it's getting late. I don't want to spend too much time talking. I just wanted you to meet me, and I want to meet all of you. And I hope I can have your support. And I am running for the 43rd Council District, and it's not an easy district. There's a lot of candidates running, but I'll do my best. Thank you.
Again, Nancy is a very hard-working person, and I see her at Columbus Day Parade, Asian American event, Russian event. Everybody loves her because she loves people, she loves working for people. Like, she organized beautiful events for veterans, you know, and so. And the club is like United Progressive Democratic Club, is one of the strongest clubs in the city of New York. So I believe like Nancy is a very strong candidate. Maybe that's why they're starting to put all of these comments, because they're afraid she's going to win. That's why.
Right. Also, like, see, Ari has the club every first Wednesday of the month. It so happens my United Progressive Democratic Club also have our meeting the first Wednesday of the month. Today I had the FDNY came in for a workshop for the home safety. So I said to them, I said, "I'm so sorry, but I must come here." So I got them all settled down because I am the co-president of the club. So once I settle everything, I said, "Don't feel bad." You know, I told somebody to take care of it, so because I had to come here. So the next time I try to come, but it so happens that it's the same day that Ari has his club night, and I have a club night.
We have a collective request from our club, because your club is too important. So our club is very important.
Yeah,
so somehow to work out, our club started Wednesday, first Wednesday of the month, and your club was not first Wednesday of the month.
Right. So that's
you reschedule it for a future. Please stop. We don't want elected officials, judges, everybody, each time where to go, what club to go.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to compete with you, we want to be friends with you. Okay, talk to your members.
Right, I will talk to the members. So it's nice to meet all of you. Thank you very much.
Okay,
You have a good night.